Have you ever heard these phrases? Gratitude is the silent magnet that attracts everything you believe you don't have. You don't manifest when you achieve. You manifest when you give thanks as if it were already real. Scarcity begins in thought. Abundance begins in gratitude. Those who give thanks before receiving activate the password for miracles. Gratitude is not an answer. It is the command that changes your destiny. Have you ever stopped to think that perhaps the only ingredient missing for you to achieve the life you desire is gratitude? Not the forced, memorized, soullessly repeated gratitude, but the kind that arises deep in your chest, like a silent whisper that transforms your way of seeing the world. Napoleon Hill, one of the greatest scholars of the human mind and the science of success, revealed something that few have truly understood, that gratitude is more than a spiritual practice. It is a magnetic force. It realigns your mind with possibilities, changes your energetic frequency, and brings you closer to what you desire. Those who give thanks before receiving activate the password for miracles. In this video, we will delve into this hidden truth. We will explore why gratitude is a key principle in Hill's philosophy, how it reprograms your mind for success, and how even modern science is finally catching up to what Hill already knew almost a century ago. Take a deep breath and prepare to see gratitude as you have never seen it before. Imagine for a moment that everything you already have is exactly what you need right now to start living an extraordinary life. This shift in focus, from scarcity to abundance, is the hidden power of gratitude. Hill taught us that the mind works like a magnet, attracting to itself that which it sustains with emotion. If you keep focusing on what is missing, you widen that void. But when you start recognizing the value of what is already present, the small victories, the invisible smiles, the simple act of breathing, your energy shifts. The frequency of gratitude is silent but powerful. It clears the mental field, dispels doubt, and makes the heart beat in time with success. Gratitude is not conformity, it is strategy. Because when you vibrate gratitude, you send a signal to the universe: I am worthy, I already have it, I'm ready for more. And that's when the miracle begins. Close your eyes and imagine that it's already happened. Imagine waking up in the morning with a light heart, a peaceful mind, and the unshakable certainty that everything is flowing in your favor. Imagine looking around and noticing that, in some silent way, miracles have begun to happen. This is not a fantasy. It's what happens when you align yourself with gratitude as a living practice. A simple but powerful technique is anticipatory gratitude visualization. Here's how it works. Before you go to sleep, lie down with your hands on your heart and breathe deeply. Then, visualize a scene from your ideal future as if it were happening right now. See the details, smell the smell, hear the sounds, experience the emotion, and most importantly, give thanks as if it were already real. Say to yourself, "Thank you, because this is already happening in my life." Your brain doesn't differentiate between what is imagined and what is experienced. It records that emotion as truth. And the universe responds to vibration, not your calendar.
A woman named Larissa, who followed Hill's teachings, decided to try this practice. She had been unemployed for months, was in debt, and didn't know how to get out of that spiral. Every night before going to sleep, she would visualize receiving a hiring email. She would feel herself entering a brightly lit workroom, hear the voices of her colleagues, see her name badge printed on it, and she would be grateful. She would even cry, but not out of despair, out of gratitude. 2 weeks later, without having sent in a new resume, a company called her. She had received an old recommendation, and the job was exactly in the sector she dreamed of. Coincidence? Or was it a sign that gratitude creates invisible bridges between the present and the miracle? This technique, used with true emotion, turns the mind into a magnet, and the more you feel, the more you attract. Another incredibly effective practice is the evolutionary gratitude journal. You won't just write down what you're grateful for, as is already common. You'll write as if you were telling the story of your evolution to someone who loves you. For example, today I'm grateful because I was finally able to pay off that old debt. I felt light, dignified, free. The feeling of being able to breathe again made me smile all day long. It's not about cold lists, it's about reliving emotions. The more sensorial your writing is, the deeper your transformation will be. Hill said that emotions are the fuel for thoughts. Without emotion, your intention is just a vague desire. But with emotion, it becomes an order to the universe. A businessman who started this journal reported that in 30 days, his company got out of the red. But the most impressive thing was that he regained his passion for what he did, and the money was just a consequence. Close your eyes and imagine what your life would be like if each step was guided by one certainty. Everything is working out for my good. This is the essence of the appreciative reversal technique. When something goes wrong, you stop, breathe, and ask yourself, why could this be a gift in disguise? Gratitude, in this case, becomes an antidote to victimhood. Hill said that the greatest victories are born in the midst of adversity. And when you give thanks, even for delays, losses, and disappointments, something changes. You break the cycle of complaining and tune into higher wisdom. It's as if you were saying to the universe, I trust. A young man who lost an important contract decided to apply this technique. Instead of despairing, he wrote, I'm grateful for this loss. I am being guided towards something better. The following week, a bigger and more aligned client appeared. The pain became a path, and gratitude was the map. You can also use the mirror of recognition technique. It's simple, but profoundly transformative. Every day, look yourself in the mirror and say, I am grateful for who I am becoming. At first, you may cry, you may doubt, but keep going. The mind needs repetition to accept a new identity. Hill insisted you become what you believe you are, and gratitude is the language of new belief. By declaring gratitude for something that is still taking shape, you seal a pact with the future. A young man who felt unworthy of love began this exercise. Days later, he began to change his posture, his outlook, his energy. And it wasn't long before a healthy relationship appeared in his life. But the most beautiful thing was hearing him say, it wasn't the other person who saved me. It was I who learned to recognize myself, and gratitude was the mirror. Now stop for a moment. Take a deep breath and say to yourself, I am grateful. It doesn't matter what your bank account, your relationship, or your health are like. Gratitude is not a prize. It's a portal. A state of consciousness that transforms every tear into fertilizer, every fall into momentum. Napoleon Hill understood that true success begins within, and everything that holds you back outside begins to dissolve when you decide to be grateful. Gratitude heals, it elevates, it attracts, it transforms, and all it asks for is presence. So if you are here, it's because a part of you is ready for this leap. Keep going. Keep this vibe alive. Share this video with anyone who needs a reminder that everything is in place to make it work. And remember, the universe moves at the speed of your gratitude.
Now that you understand the hidden power of gratitude, it's time to turn this feeling into a daily practice. Because it's not enough to just understand it with your mind, you need to feel it with your soul. So here's a simple but incredibly powerful exercise that you can do every day to start seeing real, tangible changes in your life. You'll need just 3 minutes, a dedicated notebook, which will be your blessed reality notebook, and your emotional willingness to truly feel it. Every morning, before you start your day, sit in silence, take a deep breath, and write down exactly 3 things for which you are grateful. But be careful. Don't just write down the obvious. Go deeper. Feel it. Write, for example, today I am grateful for the silence of the morning,
because it allowed me to listen to my own soul. Or, I am grateful for the hot coffee because it reminded me that I am alive and that I can start over. The more sensory and emotional what you write, the more your brain records it as real and activates the abundance circuit. After writing down the 3 gratitudes, look at the paper, take a deep breath, and say out loud, "Thank you," because more of this is coming. This phrase is the key that unlocks the door to the next level. You are declaring to the universe that you have already acknowledged the blessing, and therefore you are ready to receive more. It is like shining a flashlight in the darkness. What you illuminate expands, and gratitude is that light. Now comes the most profound part of the exercise. Close your eyes for a moment, place your hand over your heart, and visualize your day unfolding in the best possible way. See yourself smiling, feeling confident, receiving good news, experiencing subtle miracles. And as you visualize, say mentally, "I am grateful that this day has already worked out." Feel it. Let your body respond. This simple practice, writing, declaring, and visualizing, done every day, reprograms your frequency. And when your frequency changes, reality responds. You can do this exercise in the morning or before bed, but do it because it trains your gaze to perceive what is already flowing, and this gaze is magnetic. Over time, you'll notice something curious. Situations that used to make you anxious no longer unbalance you. What once seemed impossible begins to come naturally. And the people around you, without understanding exactly why, begin to respond to your new vibration. Hill said that we are creatures of habit, and this exercise is exactly that, a sacred habit, a ritual that communicates to your subconscious that you are abundant, deserving, and already moving towards your best version. Do this for 7 days, then for 21 days, then for 90 days. And when you realize, your reality will have changed so much that it will seem magical. But it is not magic. It is gratitude, lived, felt, transformative. Napoleon Hill did not speak of gratitude as a cliché. For him, it was a principle of mental action. In his writings, especially in Think and Grow Rich, Hill emphasized that positive thinking and faith are powerless without a true emotion to support them. And gratitude is one of the purest, most potent emotions we can access. It builds confidence, dissolves fear, and creates fertile ground for burning desire to flourish. Decades later, scientists today have proven this. Research from Harvard and UCLA reveals that people who practice daily gratitude are not only happier, they live better lives. Less stress, deeper sleep, stronger hearts, healthier relationships, more resilient minds. Gratitude is a true mental reset. When cultivated with intention, it rewires your brain, literally, to recognize opportunities where there were once only obstacles. And you know what's even amazing? It all starts with a simple thought. Thank you. Make a habit of being thankful for the little things.
You may be wondering, how can I apply this in practice? How can I transform gratitude into a habit that truly changes my life? The answer lies in emotional consistency. Hill spoke of the importance of repeating positive affirmations with faith. Now imagine if each affirmation was accompanied by a genuine feeling of gratitude. It's like multiplying the power of your mind. When you wake up, before even touching your cell phone, say out loud 3 things you are grateful for. Feel it. Let your heart participate. At the end of the day, repeat the process. This is not just a pretty ritual, it's neuro-reprogramming. In 21 days, your brain will automatically start to seek out the positive. What's more, your energy field will start to emit a new frequency, a frequency that attracts people, ideas, resources, and solutions that were out of your reach when you were vibrating in scarcity. Gratitude, then, stops being a theory and becomes the master key that opens doors that previously seemed locked. Gratitude also transforms your relationships. Hill said that no success is sustainable if you are isolated. Real success involves human connections, and there is no more powerful force for nurturing relationships than expressing sincere gratitude. When you say thank you, not automatically, but by looking someone in the eye and acknowledging their value, you create a bond. You convey value. You plant invisible seeds that will germinate in the form of support, loyalty, and synergy. And the same goes for your relationship with the universe. When you say thank you before you receive, you declare faith. You activate the principle of early manifestation, which is one of the pillars of Hill's mental success. Saying thank you before the miracle happens is a spiritual code that confuses scarcity and forces abundance to respond, because the universe cannot resist the vibration of a grateful heart. When you look back, you may realize that many of your happiest days were not those in which you received something great, but rather those in which you felt truly present, at peace, and connected. This is gratitude in its purest form. Hill taught us that success without peace is failure in disguise, and gratitude is the path back to center, to what really matters. No matter where you are today, whether you're at rock bottom or have already climbed a few steps, gratitude will always be the key that unlocks the next level. Because it doesn't depend on what happens outside, it is born within. And what is born within builds outside. Remember, the more you give thanks, the more reasons you find to be thankful. The cycle starts over again, stronger and stronger. Scarcity loses its strength, fear dissolves, and life finally begins to respond with generosity. And now you have two choices. You can leave this video and go back to your usual routine with the same complaints, the same emotions, the same results, or you can make a simple but revolutionary decision. Start giving thanks with intention. Start feeling gratitude as a lifestyle, not as an occasional gesture. Because while you wait for life to get better so you can be grateful, life is waiting for you to be grateful so it can start getting better. So I ask you honestly, how many more days are you going to postpone the transformation that is already within your reach? How many miracles are waiting in line, just waiting for a vibration from you to manifest? You came here for a reason. And maybe that reason is to remember that there is already a force within you capable of rewriting your destiny. The choice is yours. But if you are ready for more, start today. Grab a piece of paper, write, feel, and be thankful, as if it had already happened, because that is exactly how it starts to happen. If you felt this message, share it. Gratitude is not to be kept, it is to be spread. Leave your comment with a phrase of gratitude. Inspire others. And if you want to continue diving into this universe of transformation through the mind, spirit, and frequency, subscribe to the channel here. This is a space where gratitude is not just a topic, it is the basis of everything. Because when you learn to be thankful, even for what has not yet arrived, you activate the creative power that Hill always spoke about, and your life will never be the same again.